This week, are the Olympics still cool? It's time to light the lights and Bad Bunny Bowl. And now your host, Michael Indeglio!
What is up, team? Welcome to K&M Geekly. Just a sneak peek at a couple of geeks. Well, I guess a quartet is all here today, talking about some of the things getting them through their week. Quartet is a combination of quartet from the Stephen King universe to the word quad, which means four. It's very intricate. You might need AI to solve the math for you.
Tied directly to a topic today because the quad god is in the Olympics and Olympics.
That's right. I can't wait.
Quad god.
Yep. Oh,
figure
Ronnie.
skater.
Yeah, we're gonna get Ronnie involved.
He's got big quads and he can do quad flips.
I'm not sure his quad muscles played into it at all, but I mean, as we've already started, I'm joined by, as always, by Keith Varney. I've got the Ron God, Ron Parson, and of course Nick and Diglio with maybe the worst microphone that is ever microphoned. So apologize to our listener.
It's amazing. We call ourselves K&M Geekly.
So, this microphone thing obviously makes me feel like I'm old and outdated. And then earlier,
wait till you see the spoofs of, or usually I run like a blooper at the end of the episode sometimes, and I've got a good one for this week. So.
Oh, great. Perfect. Well, anyway, I was in a conversation with a student today. This was a 8th grader. And at the end of the conversation, they were using slang the whole time. And I thought I pretty much had it all. Like I was in a good spot. I was in a good spot. No cap. Mm-hmm. Anyway, as they were leaving, they called me an OP.
Old person?
Now, no. I assumed, right, because I think I'm hip, that it was video game lingo for being overpowered. Like if you're OP, your character's overpowered, right? So
that is a very optimistic view.
Yeah. Yeah, I really thought. And then I realized that what they really called me was an op, which means you are
right?
Yeah, you're the law, you're the authority, and you're not cool.
You can't be a narc when you're the principal. You are you are the thing people narc to.
That is correct. It's not so much a narc as it is you're the bad authority figure.
See, I thought that meant like uncle status. So I'm old too then, I guess, dude.
I thought uncle status was just unk, right?
It's unk? But I thought OP be unk too, I guess, but I guess not.
I think the fact that we have to assume and interpret indicates that it's not for us. I think.
No cap.
No cap.
I don't think I've had a conversation with somebody under 35 in a decade.
Let's go around the horn as we tend to do. Let's go with Keith and Ronnie first because Nick and I are talking about the same thing. Keith, let's go to you. What's something you've been watching, playing, listening to, doing? What is your weekly geek?
Oh God, you put me on the spot already. What have I been doing? Well, other than watching the Olympics, which I know we're going to discuss, watching the Super Bowl, which I know we're going to discuss, because I'm old, right? The thing I have been doing is I'm playing through my last playthrough of GTA 5.
Oh God, at least it's not Red Dead. I'll take GTA 5.
No. But this is my last story campaign because I don't like I don't want other people on my Xbox. Go away, leave me alone. I'm old. I just want to play the game. I want to play the thing, and so I've already 100%ed it. Mm-hmm. So I'm sort of doing it again, just one last time to get all the vibes out before 6 comes out.
But you got a while, because I don't know that that's going to make this year even.
Stop, dude! Don't say that. Don't say that, Mike. Come on.
Just have some thoughts in my head. It's possible.
I'll ask.
What I like about GTA 5, and I like about everything that Rockstar does, is that they are experts in pacing. Right? Not only can they maintain a 60-hour campaign and keep you interested with a variety of things to do, but they're really great they make these huge maps, and then somehow they can drag you through all of the different activities, get you to see the whole map. Because a lot of times when you're just driving around or whatever, you stay very focused, or you could miss a ton of the different outreaches, but they're really good about getting you to explore the whole map, which is cool. I think that's awesome design.
That is such a good point, because I think everyone knows I'm old, right? But one of the things that I really struggle with is a game like Cyberpunk, right? you'd think I'd be really into Cyberpunk. I'm not a first-person person. I want to be a third person. I want to see who the character I've created is. She's cute. But the more important than that, the pacing of the stuff coming at it. It's like you walk in Cyberpunk, there's like 10,000 people, so many people communicating and so many interactions happening. I can't even get to the next thing I'm trying to get to without being interrupted 700 times.
Oh, that
and then
phone
I'm like,
is ringing constantly.
the phone's ringing, and so it's overwhelming. And I'm like, am I supposed to do this? Am I not supposed to do this? What order am I supposed to do this in? It's so chaotic. I gave up on it because I need to be like, no, I don't necessarily, it doesn't have to be super linear. Like Rockstar doesn't do things linear, but they give you a manageable amount of competing things to choose from. You're picking from a menu of 3 options and not 40 or 50, which I agree with you. I think there's a really good point about the pacing.
I'll just to give you like a maybe a suggestion. So along those lines, I felt very overwhelmed with Cyberpunk as well as you, Keith, but they just had, well, not just, maybe a year or two ago, they released their expansion, which I think was called Liberty City or Phantom's Liberty, Phantom Liberty, maybe something like that. You could, I'll put it below, but whatever. Their expansion, you can actually just spec a character to jump to level 40 or whatever, and just start the expansion as sort of a separate game. I highly recommend that because they streamlined basically everything, and the new portion of the map is it's very specific and isolated. So I actually never finished the main campaign, but I played the expansion and finished that. So
I just need to go and put her phone on airplane mode and then play the game. I think that might be
you
the
might be able to do
solution
that
for me.
actually. Probably.
It was called Phantom Liberty, by the way.
Phantom Liberty, yeah, it's a really good expansion, especially, and I didn't even finish the game, so. Though kudos to Johnny Silverhand, played by Keanu Reeves, who's doing some great Keanu Reevesing. Ronnie, what about you, buddy? What have you been up to?
Dude, this was the week for hell for me, man. I was at the car show all week long, and then I had like 3 Drexel events, so didn't have a lot of free time this week. However, as we talked last week about WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, it is the road to WrestleMania, and I am geeking out about Roman Reigns, our tribal chief, against CM Punk in the main event. And Mike, I know you don't watch, and I was texting you, I was like, Mike, put it on, put it on, put it on.
You did.
I don't know if you put it on. Did you put it on?
No, but I watched it the next day. I did watch it, yeah.
Yeah, you're like me. Like, I don't watch it all the time anymore, but like Road to WrestleMania, now I'm watching, and dude, it's getting really good, man. Acknowledge me. Like that promo they cut on Monday night, oh my Lord, that was so, as the kids say, that was fire. It was fire indeed.
Was it? I thought it was okay.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Just okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you know all of the sort of stuff with the podcast and whatever the member berries, I guess, which I don't really, I had to Google. But once again,
okay.
Road to WrestleMania used to be, sorry, I sound old guy, used to be. I'm glad you're digging it. And I will have to watch some stuff because I know we're going to get together for WrestleMania. But
yuck is yum.
But I'm not going to, yeah, I will say, Road to WrestleMania used to be like, okay, for those of you who haven't watching, here, we're going to rope you all in. But I just don't feel that way so far. But also, I'm not watching it. So I don't know. I don't know how to. I'm glad you're digging it, and I'm glad that this seems to be that they're setting up some stories that make sense. So when I inevitably watch the packages they play right before the matches on WrestleMania, hopefully it'll be clear for me then.
They do a good job with that.
They do. It's the best part of the whole product, I think.
And AEW does a horrible job with that, because if you try to watch an AEW, which is the other wrestling promotion for those that don't know, I don't know anybody in that promotion, and I don't know any storyline going on. So if I try to watch like today, I am so lost with that. So
it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, Ron, and I don't want to dovetail too far off the subject, but I was asked to give some feedback on a indie show, but I couldn't go, and but I was part of the conversation afterwards. And the lesson I was trying to impart was, if you're just doing moves and you're doing the spot fest, right? There's no story, and eventually, by match number 3 of AEW, I am normally tired of all the flips and the stuff like that. I need story. I think they've been doing a better job at that lately. But overall, when you're on an indie show, right, it's all about story. Because 9 times out of 10, you ain't doing crazy, WWE, AEW stuff. And normally you're not that good. So what you can control is the live audience. You have actual people right in front of you that you can reach out and touch, and you need to do that. I don't mean physically sometimes, but you touch them with the story. If you can just get them to care about what they're watching in real life, they're right there, you're going to get them. So I very much agree with Mike's points, but it's hard when you're not watching, right? It's like a soap opera. If you're not watching if you're not watching your stories every day, it's hard to get invested in any of it because you're not watching the story being built. So Mike had told me that before, Ron, that he didn't like not that he didn't like it, but it didn't blow him away. And as soon as I thought about it a little bit, I'm like, yeah, if you're a casual watcher, you wouldn't have understood a lot of that. But I still think like the feeling of dislike came through on the two of them. But I would just add that.
Yeah, dude.
100. Yeah, I don't disagree. So I'm glad you're digging it, Ron, like I said. And Ron, while we're on the topic, you started Wonder Man, which I highly recommended to you, and said it was one of my favorite shows of the year so far. Not that the year's we're not that far in, but it was excellent throughout. What is your thoughts so far?
I love it, man. Oh my God. Like I saw the first episode, but I'm like, oh my God, that's my life. That's my life. Like, it's just crazy, man. Like, that's exactly how it is. But he's a little too much though, man. Like, I don't want to give any spoilers. It's the first episode, but I won't say anything, but that's a bit much. Like, have you ever did that at a filming? Like, told them to move the lights around? Like, when you have like one line or you're in one scene, that's a little bit much. That's insane.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're supposed to feel is my, like, I don't think that he is without flaws, which I think there's some growth moving forward, and which is why I think Ben Kingsley is a good counterpart to him. But I don't want to say too much.
I love Ben Kingsley. Yeah, I love Ben. I'm excited for it, and I will finish this week. Maybe I work tonight. I got to teach tonight. I'll finish this week sometime, but I'm so pumped for it, dude.
Awesome. So let's talk about nostalgia is a big thing for all of us. So let's talk about the Muppet Show has gotten another reboot, but this one's much more faithful to the actual presentation style of the original, where the Muppets are presenting a variety show with a special guest. Now, I don't believe it's been fully greenlit. I think this is a pilot and was presented as a special. So this was conceived by Seth Rogen and team and directed by Alex Timbers. With a whole bunch of guest stars from Seth Rogen himself, Sabrina Carpenter, Maya Rudolph, and the Muppets we've come to know and love. Nick, let's start with you. Give me your thoughts, your impressions. Does it capture what the old Muppet Show did? Do you think there's an audience for it now? What are your thoughts?
So this one's very close to my heart because when I was a kid living on Laurel Road in Yeadon, probably 4 years old, there's things I remember, there's things I don't, right? You have some specific memories from that time when you were that young. One of the things I remember every week was the Muppet Show. The Muppet Show was on at Sunday night at 7 p.m. That was its airtime at the live. Like, this was not syndication. These were live episodes. And that child, me, loved what I was seeing. I would say probably in the mid-90s, they released a movie called Muppets from Space. Hadn't watched the Muppets in years, watched that movie, and laughed out loud the entire time. So I bought the DVD, was it a DVD back then? Or was it videotapes?
VHS back then.
Probably VHS, I guess.
Yeah.
And rewatched the series and had no clue. Like, I never really picked up on the fact that it's really for grown-ups.
Oh, yeah.
So I literally watched all 5 seasons again and totally took something different from it completely. So fast forward through all of these, every way they've tried to redo the Muppets and repackage the Muppets, this was classic Muppets. I was totally thrown back to the days of the variety show feel. Sabrina Carpenter is probably even more talented than I knew she was. I enjoyed Sabrina Carpenter. I actually have always liked the music and her role on Girl Meets World on Disney. But she was fantastic. And they do just enough innuendo. You watch the show the same way again, right? The little kid sees one thing, the big kid sees something different. I loved every part of it. They went with a very emotional hook at the end of the episode, which I didn't expect. It actually kind of got me a little bit in the chest, which was perfect. And you had all your characters back, right? So anyone who was complaining about they couldn't get into the voice of Kermit means they weren't watching for content. You know what I mean? They were just looking to complain about something.
Wait. I'm sorry. Kermit's voice it's bad, or it's not as good anymore? Or?
Apparently, it's different. I think it's a little different.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt me.
It's because Jim Henson's dead.
Well, yeah, and then there, I forget his name, but there was a guy who played him for a very long time, and they just he left because he had some creative differences with the way Disney was going with the Muppets, and so Matt Vogel took over, who I think is fine and excellent. You know, it's you're correct in that it's just people who, you know, it's the same people who are like, well, this isn't exactly the way it was that I remember it and want it, right? There's it has to be exactly that way or I don't like it, or they change the slightest thing and it's not, you know, it's the old people yelling that it's not what I remember, right? Which
is it that different?
Well, it depends. No, the voice isn't that different. No, you wouldn't know. Right. I mean,
okay, cool.
Yeah,
he's like, hello, I'm Kermit the Frog. Like a British accent.
They didn't
like
make a totally take on the take on the character, right?
You scared me. Guys.
No, it's totally fine.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, I mostly agree. I have some questions just about the media landscape it exists in, and I think that's the challenge with the Muppets. I mean, I'll start here. Let me start by saying, for the most part, I thought comedically and pacing-wise, it was really well done. I thought that, like you said, Sabrina Carpenter was the perfect first guest. They did a funny take on a music video with her. They did a funny bit with her and with Miss Piggy. The sketches were short and quick. And like you said, there was some heart in there. And you know, they talked about the nostalgia. They talked about the difficulty of trying to re-get something going. The things that didn't work for me, like if you go back and watch the original, it's like you mentioned, Nick. It's the Muppets were subversive comedy at that point.
Yep.
And since the Muppets, you know, there's other subversive comedy has kind of blown up, and you know, there have been other puppet shows, many other puppet shows that have taken that mantle. You've got your Crank Yankers, you've got the musical comedy Avenue Q, you've got other people who have taken very adult themes through puppets and used it for a comedic sense. The Muppets, on the flip, have gotten very whitewashed. They've become a Disney property. They're very kids. I mean, my touchstone to the Muppets originally was Muppet Babies, which was like ABC very much.
I watched Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Mike, your generation, the Muppets are the Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
Like that's the you don't get to the other Muppets unless you go through the Muppet Babies.
Now, as I got older and really have fallen in love with comedy and sketch comedy and specific type of delivery of comedy, live comedy, the hosting and such like that, I turned back to the original Muppet Show and watched I think the 6 seasons.
I think it was 5.
It was very hard to piece together a collection of all of the episodes. I have done a yeoman's work on my Plex collection, but it was very subversive and very much for adults, and it highlighted Jim Henson's the sort of amazing paradox of what he could do creatively. Very much family-friendly entertainment through Sesame Street and that sort of PBS vibe, and then some subversive adult comedy, and then some batshit crazy Muppet movie puppet, like the Dark Labyrinth, the Dark Crystal. It's like crazy stuff. So this is attempting to do both, right? It's attempting to be much more neutered and accessible because it's on Disney Plus, which is Disneying, right? They don't want to ruffle any feathers, and it makes no. There are some innuendo, as you said, but there's no big swings, right? They are very much staying within their lane so that they can not upset anybody. And I'm not saying that I need it to go crazy. I'm just saying you can feel the restraint, and it's taking much less risks than I think some of the other things did. I thought those reboot movies, at least the first one, was pretty good. And I really liked, I might be in the super minority here, but that sort of like Office type show they tried to do, I really liked
Muppets.
it. Yeah. I really liked that.
Yeah.
Because
I love that.
It was them trying to like update it. And because for me, and I'm speaking for myself, what does not work for me in this, took me out of it every time, is the use of laugh track, a canned laugh track. They can't have a live audience act, obviously. They didn't in the original, and the original used a laugh track also, but it was different in the 70s. It doesn't work for me here. It takes me out every time. I hated it, like actively hated the laugh track. I'm sounding more negative on it than I am. I really did like it.
And I want to touch on a couple things you said because I think it's relative. I'm sorry, Keith, did I cut you off?
No, I was just thinking about extruding an episode. That's.
If we're not extruding right now, I don't know what we.
I mean, after lunch. I mean.
So, Mike, when you said that the subversive comedy back in the 70s, right? But then here's why I like what they did. Whatever you want to call it, whitewashing, etc., whatever. They did it first, and then everyone else tried to do what they did. They were paying homage. It was reverence, whatever. And now that they're going back to the original conceit, they already did it. And now all these other people have done it, and everything's kind of evolved a little bit. And I felt like the episode was I felt like the restraint was elegant, if you can use that word to describe a Muppet Show, where it's like, hey, they didn't have to go that crazy. They didn't have to get political, even though you could say that they did get political because the message of the episode was really, we're all in this together, just like Bad Bunny's message, and we can all share. It's not about any one act. It's about all of us together. And that's different because the original Muppet Show, you didn't get like a powerful emotional through line through every episode. So I think one of the things they're doing differently, or will be doing differently if they make more, which they will, is having a strong theme, whatever that theme will be, throughout the particular episode there. You know what I mean? Like, so to me, they did all the things. They had enough innuendo. Sabrina Carpenter saying, I love a kink. I was hilarious.
Yeah, there were some moments.
And I loved the through line that they added of everything. Last comment on that, which is just an observational comment. One of the things I really loved, because they did update the sets, right? So you had more grand sets during the skits.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the shots to the audience that had real people and Muppets in the audience the whole time. Yes, they used the laugh track because that wasn't filmed. They don't film that live. That wasn't a real studio audience. But you had Maya Rudolph in there. You had a whole bunch of very deep cut Muppet characters in there. So I really enjoyed that. I felt like in the original, you never really connected the audience to the show. You just knew a show was happening. In this one, you saw it, so it was kind of 3D that way.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll close it with, like I said, I really enjoyed it as well. The two questions that will have to be answered is, one, who's it for? Right? Who will the audience be if they continue it? And then two, the biggest difference between then and now is then in the 70s, and one of the reasons it worked, 70s, 80s, is they were very culturally relevant, which is less so the case now. So you have to rely more on the guest stars, which they did, and I thought was effective. Is the cultural relevance, depending on who the audience is, it's just nostalgia berries, or is there something to be said now? So we'll see. I don't know. I hope I'm sure it'll get greenlit for a few more. So it was cool I gotta say, it was cool to see, and just see them, when people take over the stuff we love and redo it, or you can tell they have a reverence for it. That's all I really care about at the end of the day. Whether it succeeds or fails, I just enjoy that. I guess people our age are now the ones that are taking on these properties, and that's nice to see.
But
I think 3 million people watched it live. I think after DVR it was like 5 million, and it's the number one viewed thing on Disney Plus right now. So that it's going to get more episodes.
That's
Sorry, Keith,
good.
go ahead.
No, I think that the concern that everyone is dancing around here is what you said initially, Mike, is that when this first came out, it wasn't even part of a network. It was syndicated, which meant it was independent. It was rogue. They had the freedom. Being part of a giant conglomeration means that you have independence and freedom and artistic, as long as it doesn't piss off, a corporation that's a sponsor or a political agenda. And so, once you're part of these big conglomerations, you are by definition neutered by being for profit.
I hope they knock it out of the park, right? I hope they. Ron, were you a Muppet guy? Do you give two craps or?
Muppet Babies. I'm with you. Muppet Babies. Muppet Babies.
Did they tried to bring that back too? Am I wrong about that? Like one of those
did they?
One of those 3D animated ones? Like
I would have known about that.
Mickey
dude.
Mouse
I
Playhouse.
that.
I don't know. Somebody Google it.
I know. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't count that, dude. No, that was really bad.
2018 Muppet Babies.
I mean, it counts. It's real.
No.
Whether it was good or not is a separate counting.
No. We don't count that one. But the original,
71 episodes. That's impressive.
That's what's crazy. A lot of these reboots, because they go on Netflix or whatever, like Fuller House, which was pretty good. I'm not bashing it, but they run longer than the original thing, and you're like, oh wait, that. Yeah, that's crazy.
1984 to 1991, Muppet Babies ran 109 episodes.
Okay,
in our era.
My boy Gonzo.
And Miss Piggy and the Miss Piggy Sabrina Carpenter, versus the whole episode was every time it was money when they were on screen together. There
was a lot of moments where I was like, that was really well done, and the comedy at points is very subtle. It's not, it's a good framework. I hope that I'm sure the iteration will be better. Okay,
so they nailed it. All in all, they nailed it.
For the first episode.
Yeah,
I say they
for
did.
A pilot. Yeah, for sure.
For a pilot, okay.
Yeah,
cool. I'll watch.
And it's short. You know what I mean? It's not like you're sitting there for an hour or whatever. It was like, 40 minutes or something like that, if that.
Yeah, I'll watch.
Crazy
Check
guest
it out.
stars from the original one. Good Lord. Of Muppet Babies.
Oh, yeah. Muppet Babies was awesome, dude.
That was our jam.
That was Saturday morning, right? Saturday morning cartoon, I believe.
Yeah, and then it came on during the weekday.
Then it was syndicated. I remember seeing it in the afternoons.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Super Bowl. Right, the Super Bowl, which is it is some football. Yeah, I think the game itself was not on the most entertaining side, but it is it used to be, and I think today is one of the most watched things. Averages 100 to 120 million views to this day. It is an advertisement bonanza. What they care about is getting people to come, to watch, to stay, to watch the commercials, to buy the stuff. It used to be, and we can talk about what I want to talk about today is whether it's still this. I mean, must-see TV, must-watch every commercial because I guess before memes, the water cooler pop culture talk would be from the commercials of the Super Bowl, right? I'm looking at you, Budweiser. I'm looking at you, and Twins. It used to be beer commercials, of course, but now there's all kinds of stuff. So let's go around. Ronnie, let's hear from you. I know you just gave the boring game, and it was. I mean, I'm sure the NFL wasn't in love with how that went, but you're got 100 million eyeballs. They made a very strong take. What did you think about the presentation overall? Just what are your thoughts? Let's go.
I mean, overall, it's Super Bowl. It's amazing. Presentation was great, and it's great before the game. How you see the legends of the game come out there. I love that. It was awesome. But once the game started, it just was so darn boring, man. And I'm a football guy. I love football, but everybody knew the Patriots should not have been there. Everybody knew it was going to be a blowout, and it was a blowout. And honestly, man, like I was on my family we all watched it together. We all were on our phones, dude. Even during the commercials, like I don't remember one commercial. Just in Dunkin' Donuts commercial, I remember. But it's not like it used to be. And again, I guess this is the theme. We sound like old people screaming at the clouds. It just wasn't the same like it was back in the day, dude. You know? Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, okay. You mentioned the ads, and they didn't do it for you, but at least that's still the same model as it used to be, right? Nothing has changed there. It's still just commercials. They pay a lot of money, and they're maybe a little more elaborate or whatnot. So nothing changed there. What did you think about? Well, we'll wait into that. Let's weigh into the halftime show separately. Okay, so cool. But overall, the game was boring. The ads didn't really do it for you.
Nah, I checked out at halftime, man. After the Bad Bunny, I kind of turned the channel. We put something on. Yeah.
Keith,
I never do that either.
As a guy who is multitasking usually with his screens, what did you think of the Super Bowl? What did you think of? It was more available than usual. It was on Peacock. You could watch it on your streaming services. What did you think about the presentation overall?
I thought the NBC presentation I think was fine. What I want them to do is point it at the football and show the football and don't overcomplicate with all this crap. They didn't. Mm-hmm. I appreciated that. I thought we'll talk about the performance, but I thought the performances all the way around, mm-hmm. From Lift Every Voice all the way through Green Day and Brandi Carlile. I thought they were all really top notch, which I think made it fun. The commercials, I just don't care. I think back in the day, we were all watching network television, and we were forced to watch endless commercials, and they were all bad. So when you had a commercial that was not just stab me in the eyes boring, it felt very exciting. It felt very new. It felt finally I haven't seen it's a commercial I haven't seen 300 times because I had no choice but to sit through these commercials. I don't watch commercials anymore. And so it's just not something that I like, and so it's annoying even if it's like, oh, it's got all these stars. Well, whatever, they're all on TikTok. There's all these online ads. The standard of the commercials that we see when we're forced to see them by accident, they're all what would be Super Bowl commercials back in the day. And so having a big star show up isn't new anymore. There's a big star in every commercial that shows up that we click away from. So forget it. I just couldn't care less about the commercials.
Keith, you know I'm a commercial actor, so thanks for celebrating your buddy over here. Thank you, buddy.
No,
thanks.
I very much appreciate the paycheck that all of my friends who get commercials, but you are being paid to,
You're not watching us. Support us, man. Come on, dude. Support us.
I support you. So you know what? I will write you a check right now.
Nick, you seem to be a little more into the commercials. I don't know if that is just because. Well, explain why that is. Is that just a touch point to the old days, or are you talk about the commercials this night, because you were definitely watching them more, and your thoughts on the overall production?
Hi, Jen Babby. Actually, just walked behind you. So I do agree with Keith actually in that, but for a little bit different. Those commercials to me during pre-super internet days. I was watching the Super Bowl because the Eagles wasn't in it, and give me the commercials. Really, all I cared about. Because it's like with wrestling, you need a hook. You need something to. We're going to watch wrestling today because they say it's important, and the product is better. So, I guess it takes less to impress me now because I understand the quality isn't as good as those commercials were back then. But I literally cried 3 times during commercials last night. That's ridiculous. No, I'm old and mentally ill, but that tugged my heartstrings that much where they got tears out of me. That's saying something. And I found I have my best commercials picked out. To me, they were all either super original or had some subtle humor that some people might not have gotten, or just over the top, and it worked. For example. So should I just give my favorite?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
All right. So my number one commercial, there were 2 of them. Adrian Brody for Progressive, I think it was, or one of those, whatever the insurance company was. And in the first commercial, it's Adrian Brody being Adrian Brody, and they have to keep cutting because he's being too serious. And it was just so good, that is so much how you expect Adrian Brody to be. And then to play it out like they did, I thought it was really.
Just to point
excellent.
out, just as a quick aside, you don't remember the name of the company, so as an actual advertisement, not particularly effective.
It was for. Oh no, it was TurboTax. What am I saying? Yeah, I had to think about that, obviously. But yeah, it was doing your taxes shouldn't be stressful. Good point, Mike. Good point. Next was Kurt Russell and Michelob Ultra training the slow ski guy. And last person down the mountain has to buy the Michelob Ultra. And then Kurt Russell shows up. That was just awesome. You get the Eye of the Tiger montage. Really enjoyed that one for sure. My biggest cry of the 3 cries was the Redfin commercial for Be My Neighbor. That one really hit me. Although it was a close second place for the Hers commercial with the father who ran the farm and was retiring, and the daughter was taking it over. I'm going to go buy Hers and use them as tissues to wipe the tears away from crying for that one. And ridiculously, I had to include the Mike Tyson commercial because only Make America Healthy Again could come onto the screen with Mike Tyson and insult me horribly and then leave me to cry over my unhealthy ways. And feel threatened. I felt like Mike Tyson was going to come and beat me up at my house. and that would have terrified me.
Don't
if he
even
brought
get me started.
if he brought
Don't
the
even
toad
get me
venom,
started.
yeah, if he brought the Bufo, it'd be a different story. We could smoke some toad venom together. It'd be great. But I mean, I was literally in disbelief. I'm like, why is no one else talking about this right now? It's crazy. So I felt like more than in most years recently, I enjoyed the quality of the commercials. There were some that were terrible. That 90s de-aging stuff I thought that was horrible.
That was terrifying.
Right, because it didn't look real. Like, you can't just de-age everybody and expect it to work. And also, I really wanted the Jurassic Park commercial to be good, and it wasn't.
Well, yeah.
There's a new Jurassic Park?
No, they just were using slop AI to put people into Jurassic Park and do what commercials do. So, yeah.
I didn't see that one.
None of the commercials, I would say, lived up to some of the greats. I mean, I think, it was a great example. What I thought, and we're gonna go into partisan political opinion here. So you might want to, if you're not into that, go ahead. Because what I think you got a sense of is, because you're paying a gajillion dollars for these commercials to reach 100 million people. And so what you get a good glimpse of is what these companies, and let's be honest right now, corporate interests is what is determining a lot of what's happening in our country and where public opinion is. And so you got an interesting vibe of where these companies think the political / cultural pulse is. And I found it very interesting that there were some companies that thought, okay, we're just going to AI slop pop culture references, and that's all people give a shit about, which there is plenty of research and market research that we have done as a society that proves that to be true. But interestingly, there was a lot of actual representation, diversity, and community / neighbor, help your neighbors, blue collar working guy vibes in these commercials that I thought starts to give me the sniff test of maybe some people choosing to be on a different side of history from the corporate level. Now, what their interests are, I don't want to give them too much credit for altruism, but if you can win the culture wars, it can help you maybe ward off some evil. So that said, I don't think that the NFL really wanted the presentation of the Super Bowl to be a political conversation. That was forced upon them. When they announced Bad Bunny, who is one of the, if not the most popular musicians in the friggin' world right now.
Number one, sir.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know who he is, only because of wrestling, he is number one.
Doesn't matter if we know or not.
Exactly.
He is number one. So
Yeah.
that choice was made for that reason, right? Like, if you can get the biggest global superstar to be on, that means people don't switch the channel and they stay 100 million eyes on you and you can sell your ads. That was their initial calculus. The conservative right, or the MAGA wing of the party decided that they wanted to make that was a narrative war they could win, or they could harness and use and be anti-immigrant and all this stuff. Even though Puerto Rico is, Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican, is very much part of the United States. That hypocrisy is well seen. However, what I thought was pretty heartening, and I'll let you guys discuss, is that the NFL said, all right, if we're going to be forced into this place, we can do one of two things. Punt and go a different way, or really try to avoid it, or double down. And in my opinion, the doubling down was maybe the best thing I've seen the NFL do in a long time. From the get-go, we had all kinds of representation in the pre-show. You had Green Day, who is clearly have been outspoken, and they opened the show. You've got Lift Every Voice, which was a very people of color inspiring representation. You had Brandi Carlile do God Bless America, or America the Beautiful, queer representation, LGBTQ representation. You had the Bad Bunny halftime show, which wasn't just him performing songs. It was a theatrical display.
You're skipping over Charlie Puth?
Charlie Puth, who gave an incredible national anthem, very patriotic. And the Bad Bunny presentation, in my opinion, which, I mean, I made a list. I just went through, and this is very cursory, but like just to put it out there, and I'll back out, is his halftime show starts in the sugarcane fields, talking about representation and coming to face with our history of exploitation, and just starting with that. Celebrating Latin culture unapologetically. We saw salsa, guest artists, Lady Gaga, sugarcanes on the field. We had him presenting a Grammy of himself as a child, symbolizing belief, possibility, and belonging. Saying "God bless America" and then listing every Latin American country, and then having all the flags come out, and then holding the football that said, the billboards outside, the only thing more powerful than love is hate. Him just reframing what actually is meant about inclusivity and about patriotism. It was moving. And as Ron said, I didn't know a goddamn word of it, right? Like, I don't speak Spanish. And he dared to do it all in Spanish and not apologize for it in the face of all of that pressure. And he invited guest stars and actors of that represent his culture to be in the show with him. There was that aside, the representation aside, live musicians, dancers giving freaking everything in it. It made me emotional. It recaptured for me what I used to feel if we were to put nationalism or patriotism in quotes. That's the type of thing that I'm proud about, used to be proud about, like about what this country's supposed to be. That representation, the diversity of us that is supposed to be our greatest strength. Now, and I think all of that was shown with such celebration, in stark juxtaposition culturally and in the media landscape with what was happening on other streaming services. I just thought it was like one of the most effective pop cultural swings we've had, where things felt like we could potentially get on the right side of history. Now, that's
and Mike, the football said, the youth will save us.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. So overall, I was really hyped about that. I loved that Peacock finally is presenting in Dolby Atmos in HDR 4K as well. I wanted to mention that for my geeks out there. So guys, go ahead, go around the horn. Keith, let's start with you. I know you've got so much to say.
I thought Bad Bunny's performance fantastic. It was, and again, like, I don't really know his music that well, and I do not speak Spanish whatsoever, but it was uplifting and exciting and joyful, and there was so much built into the story there. And if you sort of dig into it, first off, the marriage was real.
Mm-hmm.
The people getting married, they actually got married in that moment. All of the stores and bodegas, that kind of stuff, are all real, that he represented from real places in the world. He had so much to say. Ricky Martin there as the previous generation of Latin superstar breaking out, but having had to make the compromise of doing everything in English in order to have bigger fame, where Bad Bunny didn't have to do that.
Well, and being closeted and not being able to be his true identity back when he had his career.
All of that, and symbolism, everything was meaningful, and I didn't catch all of it. One of the things that AOC pointed out on Twitter, which I really appreciated, was at the end where he's holding the Puerto Rican flag. Right. Not only is that important symbolically, because in the, I think it was 40s, 50s, something like that, flying the Puerto Rican flag, even in Puerto Rico, was illegal. And the original version of the flag had a lighter blue in the blue, white, and red. And when they finally allowed the flag to be flown, they changed it to match American blue, right? And that's the flag that you were allowed to wear. And he flew, he carried the lighter blue Puerto Rican flag, which is now a symbol of resistance and hope and stuff like that. I didn't know that till AOC pointed it out, but it's stuff like that. It is incredibly meaningful and meaningful to like people like us or me, right? Who just I'm well intentioned, but I don't really know the history of all of this. I'm all of this kind of stuff. For me to start digging in and learn a little piece of this history, but I can't even imagine what it means to people in his community and the Latin community all throughout North America and South America. And I thought it was great. And it just, to have a problem with the message he was sending, you have just outed yourself as a racist, full stop. Also, he's an American.
Yeah.
And all that goes, you're not American, right? Well, most of the people who have done Super Bowl thing was McCartney American or the Rolling Stones American? Like most of the people who have done Super Bowl halftime aren't. He actually is. You're just a racist.
Well, and just from a media standpoint, it's usually when an artist, let's say, tries to makes a statement like this, or their art is interpreted as a statement like this, or this wasn't so much necessary of interpretation. I mean, it was clearly a political
Pretty
statement.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But usually that is used as a talking point for the right to say they're making this a political thing, it's supposed to be just a halftime show. And yet, by creating a whole separate halftime show that is to be defined as the American version versus this other version, you've now neutered your usual argument or talking point or tactic because you made it that, right?
Also, you know what? It's not supposed to be political. Is code for? I'm a racist.
Yeah,
it's
fair,
always
yes.
political. It is it has always been that way. It will always be that way. The minute
Keith,
you say it shouldn't be political, we know what you're saying.
No, Keith, you're wrong, because I read a tweet from the President of the United States who
is
said,
that true?
Yeah, he said Bad Bunny was the worst halftime show ever.
Well, hold on. You got to do the voice.
I can't do. I don't do it.
Bad Bunny's the worst halftime show ever. Everyone's been saying it. You know what's happening in America today.
I think the important part of that whole
and
screen,
change the kick rule back.
Yeah, the screed there that's important is that he watched that halftime show at his party.
Of course he did.
Rather than turning over to the other show, which was lip synced and actively terrible.
The Klan rally on YouTube.
You know what's crazy though, guys? Like, we're this upset over a halftime show, but we're not saying jack shit about Epstein files. Like, how bad is this? Is horrible, man. It's a sad fucking world. Oh,
or
sorry.
what's happening in Minnesota, or any all of it.
Well, I mean, it's one and the same, right? I mean, if your halftime show gets to decide who is American, what kind of music is American, or you get to define it, then it defends the fact that you have a masked secret police force going out demanding
Murdering
people prove that they're American.
Well, the subtext of it. What are those people doing? They're arresting brown people who their citizenship on paper, it doesn't really matter. The problem is they're brown and they want them gone. And it's the same thing with Bad Bunny. It's the same thing with all of the subtext and all of these things. Let's just call a spade. It's the truth.
Yeah, and I
think that phrase is also racist.
Yeah, it's coded.
A spade. I mean, it's just built into our culture. It is built into the DNA of this country.
Now, what I'm a little more Pollyanna on this, and I admit that my privilege allows that. But it's the first time in a long time where I felt like if the tenor of the country, pop culture-wise, landscape-wise, the young people, advertisers, big conglomerations like the NFL are making a decision to be on one side of the narrative, for a president who is at the keystone of this whole political firestorm, who exists on vibes and being on the right side and controlling the narrative, it's the first time I felt like, all right, this is a cult of personality that can be vanquished, and so I felt heartened by that.
Oh, the shift is definitely changing. It's definitely changing. It's coming.
Ron, I don't know if you want to talk about it you can mention it here. We don't have to belabor the point, but I know that you have recently been having some sort of shifts in some of your perceptions and feelings. Like, is that modeled in what you saw last night?
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. I mean, like, I'm not a political guy. I don't really get into this stuff, but it's getting sickening, man. It's getting sick out there, and we're getting sick of it. We're tired of it. And I think the people that did support Trump, there are some people that really didn't think he was a racist and they really supported Trump. I think they're changing their tunes as well. And I think there's a big difference coming, guys.
Well, herein lies the dilemma, because what you have are extremes that are so ridiculous that it has become dangerous.
Oh yeah,
beyond where things were maybe 10 years ago, and no one will ever change the minds of those extremes.
No,
you know what I mean. So that remains that will be a threat. It's a constant threat. You know what I mean. And that's just that which exists in most countries. Now, I will say from a political standpoint, take every personality out of it for a moment, which I know we can't really do anymore, but just for a moment, put all that aside. Just from policy and political beliefs, I would probably be defined as a very moderate conservative in that my leanings, right? However, if you consider me a normal educated person, the level of insanity we are quickly reaching is ridiculous. Now, let's just forget what your beliefs are for a second about the ICE raids, right? Forget if it's legal, it's not legal, whatever. Just look at, over the past 2 weeks, the tweets that have come from the highest office in the world. We have the Super Bowl tweet ranting about a halftime show being the worst in the history. That is a temper tantrum right there. Not long ago, less than a week, we had this federal withholding of the tunnel that's being built between New York and New Jersey, continuing, right? It's been like 2 months now. And we had the president say, if you rename Dulles Airport and Penn Station after me, I will release the money to you again. What? Excuse me? You want us to name forget Dulles, Penn Station? You want to rename one of the most iconic locations in the world?
Well, we've lost, like, it's insane. Yes. I think what people are realizing now is this is no longer a political issue. This is not about right, left, center. It is about authoritarian and not authoritarian.
And you warned me, Keith. Remember the talk we had about a year ago? You said it, brother. You said it, man.
Like the Republican Party doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't. Yes. Like if you were like, well, I might vote for Romney. Okay, I disagree with you, but you're coming from a philosophical standpoint, a political ideology, a different way to accomplish. We want the same goals. I think this is the way to do it versus this is the way to do it. But we have the same basic fundamental ideas. That's all gone now. It is now, do you want to live in an autocracy or a democracy? And anybody who wants to live in a democracy, it's not about right, left, Democrat, Republican. It's, do you believe in laws? Do you believe in representation? Do you believe in that? Or do you not? That is the only discussion at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's a great conversation. I'm glad we're having it. I'm glad we're not afraid to have it.
Down the road.
My point is more like to keep it kind of remotely geek or like focused on like sort of our I'm just saying the narrative pop culture wise is starting to shift more than it was. Whereas, you know, for a long time it was just like play Trump as a joke, as a parody of himself, and that'll do the trick. And that is no longer the trick. So now it actually
doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it actually feels like, look, as we can all say, being the old guy ranting about what kind of music you should listen to has never gone well for the grown-ups in the room, right? Like, you don't, right. I mean, like rock and roll wasn't popular because the president liked it, right? So, you know, I'm happy to see that, you know, gajillion gajillions of millions of folks are getting told they can't listen to something, because ultimately that we got to fire up the youth to vote anyway, right? Like, we need numbers, assuming that because
voting matters anymore. Yes,
I understand that
Well,
that
Keith,
viewpoint.
Keith,
Yeah.
don't worry. The polls are going to be protected by
ice. Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll keep
Yeah.
it safe.
that's
To my point, once again, if I'm to keep because if we don't have hope, what's the point? So the hopeful part of that, though, is whereas maybe a couple weeks ago that would have frightened me, because I would say, well, that's going to intimidate a lot of people, aren't going to show up. Once again, Minnesota is showing me that the opposite is true, right? If people are fired up enough or think it's punk enough that they're going to show up in the face of those people, and not only that, I'm going to show up dressed as a inflatable dinosaur, right? Great. Whatever it takes, get there.
Which people who look like us have more protection to do
Sure.
than the people who
very
are
much
being
so.
intimidated not to vote.
Sure.
It really feels like Star Wars, guys. Like, it really
It is
does,
Star
doesn't
Wars.
it?
It's absolutely Star Wars.
It's just Star Wars, man.
It is
Like,
100% Star Wars.
Now, actually, Keith, can I disagree on just one small part of that?
Sure.
I think there's a slight distinction, right? In Star Wars, at certain points, I could see the Emperor's point.
Their
sometimes-
costumes look so much better than these doughy guys in like
Yes,
home
and he had
like Walmart jeans.
great. He had a red lightsaber. I mean, it was awesome. Whereas, I don't know. I just think the Emperor had it more together.
Oh, he was definitely like he was much less chaotic. He didn't have dementia. He was
probably extremely true there.
he was probably continent.
I one comment on going back to the halftime show, because there were two things I wanted to say about it.
This
One-
went off the rails.
It happens. Did you know the sugar canes? There were people inside carrying them. There were people under the sugar canes.
Yeah, there were people dressed up as
Yeah,
sugar
because
canes.
they would have been too heavy for the field. So that was the only way they could creatively, artistically figure out how to make that work.
and move around and rearrange.
Yeah, which was
choreograph,
just
yeah.
awesome.
oh, that's cool.
Second thing is, I thought the biggest statement, if you're looking, just from that perspective, was Ricky Martin, right? This is the dude who did it first.
Yeah.
He was, and no one at that point, right? Now, I fully agree. He had to do it in English. He had to be in the closet, but he did it and transcended, and no one was complaining about he's not American enough. We were all allowed to just like his music. So now we're bringing him back, and now he is who he is sexually. He records primarily in Spanish, and has embraced all of that. I just thought that was like a really good without having to say it.
I want to give Ricky Martin his props, though, for clarity's sake. He was never co-opted, because every one of his albums was always released in dual languages. He never sold out or did anything. I mean, he had to make some personal sacrifices in order to maintain his celebrity in a certain way but he was very much a Latino artist first who catered to an American audience when necessary. So I don't know.
Mike, you have to say that to apologize for the horrible versions of his stuff that we sang on Oops.
No, I'm just a really big fan, and all of his albums, like Vuelte, I think, whatever the first one was I was such a big fan of. I didn't even know there was an American version of it. We were big. Mr. Wademaker in 8th grade in Spanish. We were big on Ricky Martin.
My final touch point on the whole halftime show, I now have a new bucket list item, and I don't have many of those, but this is now one. I want to just be present on the roof of the barbershop in the performance last night. I want to be hanging out with Bad Bunny. I want to be hanging out with Pedro Pascal, with Jessica Alba, and those crazy good dancing people. I just want to be at that party. Can someone invite me to that party? That
was what was awesome about last night. Even in a different language, everybody felt invited to that party. And that is the success of that performance. Look, sometimes you get a Prince, right? That is like a transcendence performance, like musical performance. You're just like, holy shit, that was God playing guitar. Okay, sometimes you get that. Sometimes you get the Rolling Stones, and it feels like they wheeled out the Rolling Stones to give you the Rolling Stones best of, right? Sometimes it's Kendrick Lamar, which I'm not super versed in his music, but there's a clear viewpoint, the production quality. Like, those were all practical sets last night. I mean, just from a production standpoint, that was insane. You could hear everything, every word, everything was mixed properly. It was incredible what they pulled off. And I'm here for, and then, the 90s sort of hip hop celebration, was that last year or 2 years ago?
Oh, Dr. Dre and Eminem and all those guys. Yeah,
that was another one that was a celebration of a very specific culture. Yeah, very specific culture, awesome. and that was a vibe. I'm here for this sort of like celebration of a culture, of a music style with a like heightened symbolism. I'm here for whatever they've got going. Let's keep it going. And they are not paid. Did you know that they are not paid for this?
Nope. Yep.
No, not a dime. And I believe the NFL gets a cut of their earnings for like the next year, which is why I think you're maybe optimistic about the NFL's trying to make a statement other than I like money.
Yeah,
sure. But that's part of my point. Like, if your statement is I like money and the money is on equality, okay.
Yeah,
let the free market reign, baby.
Also, Keith, people haven't talked much about this, right? They're like, oh, Bad Bunny is really famous, but why would they have him at the Super Bowl? He is the #1 global draw. Number one. No one has more downloads than him. No one has more. He's been in big Hollywood movies and had maybe the best role in Happy Gilmore 2. Who wouldn't want this guy headlining the Super Bowl?
And when you tell people that, they say, well, I still don't like him.
Well, and we all know why.
Hey, but I want to say, too, that's why Taylor Swift turned it down, apparently, because they don't pay him anything. But you got 135 million people watching, your sales are going to go up. So it's a win-win, you know?
Which is why the NFL takes a cut of that.
Yeah. Smart.
Right. But I think at that sort of global level of success, or not even, right, that kind of offer, especially under the immense political pressure put on you, and it's not just political pressure these days. Like, clearly it's been shown that if the president doesn't like you, they can arrest you, or they'll sue you, or they have other ways. It's not just texting all the time. So it would be completely understandable for someone to be like, you know what, I don't want this. Yeah. Right. So for someone to have the balls to say, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to double down and I'm going to say something in the face of that. Listen, I'm not a huge fan of his music, not because I have anything against it. It's just not my vibe. Although there's some bops in there for sure. Drop that bass for reggaeton. I will give somebody their flowers when they show me they've got a sack on them, and so
big bunny balls, no question.
When he was wrestling, the first time I was exposed to him was when he was at like a WrestleMania a few years ago, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah,
that has changed for me. I know who he is, and I say respect. And if he didn't earn the respect of everybody, you watching the wrong shows.
Go ahead, Keith.
No, I was gonna say I'm talking out of school, but from sources close to me. He also, very nice guy, very humble, just like a regular dude.
All the WWE folks said the same thing.
Listen, the internet has slowed down some of his pelvic thrusting, and apparently his huge sack is both figurative and literal.
Yeah, those pants were tight. So hear me out, right?
Okay.
WrestleMania ticket sales slow. They're at like 35,000 each night. Why aren't we right now making Bad Bunny versus Jake Paul, Logan Paul a thing? Because
we all know why.
Did you see Logan Paul, what he did last night?
He said
brilliant. They said, hey, look, he made a public statement saying that he doesn't agree with his brother, right? So he's not on the hate Bad Bunny train. And then they said, are you going to watch the performance tonight? And he goes in character and says, nope. Which was total bullshit, but it was WWE.
Yeah,
that's what he was doing his shtick. We've got
he was there. I think he was there. Yeah, of course
he was. That's where they asked him that question. Yeah. So we literally can put minimally Logan Paul and Bad Bunny into WrestleMania, and
it would be amazing. I don't think they'll let him.
No. I mean, they wouldn't let him do one-on-one match. You'd have to do a tag.
Well, no, I don't think Endeavor or whoever owns WWE would do that.
You don't think so?
No, they're not going to give Bad Bunny a platform on that channel.
They care about money, man. They just want money, dude. They're money hungry, and that's why tickets aren't selling, Nick. Because the prices are crazy.
It's insane. It is. It is insane. It is. Say what you want about Vince, but his number one priority was affordable tickets for families.
Yeah.
Well,
no
because that business was built on gate of a live show, and it ain't anymore, right? So
no, it's true.
That was my point with who's it for? It don't feel like it for anybody, and it's hard to direct a show when you don't know who the audience is. That is hard to do, nay impossible. That said, I thought the Super Bowl was a big win. I wish the game was better, but That said, you know what? The coach, the quarterback, all these guys in Seattle, everybody they interviewed, we know what they displayed: zero toxic masculinity, humility, giving praise to your teammates and to the coaches, thanking the fans, thanking the people who come to their games, the 12th, that also was a story that resonated with me. They were just unassuming dudes. There wasn't a lot of huge star players. They just won playing defense. I mean, it's like all the stuff that isn't sexy. It isn't what the NFL's trying to push, but is still there. A good running back, a strong defense, home field advantage, who traveled
And he's their backup running back, dude. He's going to get paid.
Yeah.
He's on my fantasy team. I called him winning MVP in the first quarter. You were on the thread.
I had Darnold for MVP, so I'm like, only time of year I bet is Super Bowl. I go crazy Super Bowl, and I missed it by 1 touchdown. I needed Darnold to throw 2 touchdown passes, and he only threw 1. Anyway,
I was a little sad that they really still got to work on their post game. Like, the post show kind of sucks. And they threw to the Olympics so fast. They were like, here's the MVP, here's the trophy, okay, and bye.
I think they knew it was bad. They knew the game was bad, and people probably tuned out. They're like, all right, let's just get the hell out of here. You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
bad.
It wasn't great.
No.
Yeah, but you know what? You can't. That's the thing with the one and done playoffs, man. It's the excitement of one and done playoffs is that any given Sunday. But the benefit of like what hockey and baseball do with a 7-game series, generally speaking, the best teams advance, because to win a 7-game series, you got to be good, and that it does not exist in the football.
No, it does not.
Okay, well, that was quite a conversation. We lost all 3 listeners on that one.
100%, they're gone.
Yeah. Nothing does a geek podcast like politics. Yeah, no.
I hate them. Geekly went political.
Everything is now, though. It's so crazy, right?
It's unavoidable.
Yeah,
I try to avoid it.
You really want to be a character in Cabaret in the Wine My Republic? Everything's great.
If you want to see some extra talk about political protest and how that affects schools and such, we have a whole part of this podcast we're cutting out and putting on our Patreon. Check us out at patreon.com/K&M. You can check it out there. But let's close out the show the way we always do with our weekly rad. I was going to forget it entirely, so since you reminded me, Nick, you get to start.
Okay. I got 2 biggies, folks.
Okay.
And Keith, Mike, and Ron, you're going to have to help navigate me through the second one. Okay, first one. I can't wait for the Valentine's Day release of the new Wuthering Heights movie. I am in love with Emily Bronte when she was over 18. I'm in love with the original novel from 1847. I'm in love with a black and white movie that was eerie and ghostly and awesome. I'm in love with Kate Bush. That's true. And her Wuthering Heights song, which I think encapsulates the emotion of the entire book beautifully. And guess what? I'm excited to see Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. Is that how I say it? Elordi?
I think so.
Yeah. Do whatever they're going to do with it. I hope it's not what Mike rightfully said it probably will be, which is a 50 Shades of taking it in that direction. But I am really excited to get another interpretation of Wuthering Heights. So that's my first one. My second one, I am very, 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 very slowly playing Claire Obscure 33, which was pretty much everyone's game of the year. It won all the awards. I am a sucker for a small independent studio that makes a game that transcends, kind of like Ghost of Tsushima, how they started off. And I got into this game right away. It's got the Japanese RPG, turn-based combat. It looks like your Final Fantasy games, and the story, the conceit, the plot initially is super good, right? There's this city that gets cut off from the rest of the continent, basically, and there's a monolith and someone they call the paintress who paints a number on the rocks, and that number represents that anyone over that age on a particular day poofs out of existence, like Thanos snapping his fingers, and they never come back. The number started at 100, and the game picks up at number 33. So every year there's an expedition to try to kill the paintress in order to stop this from happening. And I feel like I'm about halfway through the game at this point. I've loved playing it. I love the combat. I love the story. I love the choices, the build system. And then something insane happens. It is bat crap crazy, and the entire game has now flipped on its head for me, to which I was like, I had a really hard time accepting it. So anyway, from a spoiler perspective, I don't know what we do, what we don't do.
Well, I haven't finished it, and I haven't even got to the crazy part, so we can't really talk about the ending. But
well, it's not the ending. This might be 50%. I might be halfway through.
It's probably about a 40-hour campaign, so I don't know.
40 hours.
Okay. So anyway, what I find brave is that they made this decision maybe at the halfway point, and it literally changes everything. So the fact that you take a game that I was loving every bit of it, and they're willing to take this risk, blows my mind. So I'm just so looking forward to what comes next.
Okay.
To keep it simple.
So that's Claire Obscure, and what was the other thing? Oh, Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering Heights, which totally wasn't one of the most boring books I've ever read. Okay. Not for me.
So insane.
Not for me. Ronnie, let's talk the week. What's your thing?
It comes out Friday. 2-player co-op horror Reanimal. Let's go.
Okay, brother. I'm in with that.
Go.
Okay.
You in with it, Mike?
Yeah, I don't get back till Tuesday, but let's play then, or Monday. Let's play then.
I'm in. Let's go.
And it's just 2-player, or is it like how many co-op?
2. It's like split fiction, like it's one of those type deals.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, dude, it looks amazing.
I'll do you one better. If
dark.
I can get it to work, if we can figure it out, we'll stream it. We'll play it on stream.
Oh, that's fun.
Now let me ask you a question though, guys. Switch 2 or PlayStation 5? What should I get it on?
I guess we can't stream it then. Oh no, wait. If you do Switch,
no, it's cross-gen.
Yeah, I just mean like I'd have to play it from my side. Probably in that case, PlayStation, so I could hear you. But we'll figure it out. You're gonna play it on your Switch?
He wants the Switch to be worth something.
Yes. Thank you, Nick. Thank you.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. Should I? This is the movie I've been waiting my whole life for. Should I watch it on this theater that I spent $5,000 on, or my iPad?
Let's watch it on VHS.
My cracked iPad. My kid cracked. Okay. So that's Reanimal. Keith.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do in-house next week. We are launching Keith and Mike Watch Star Trek Voyager. I have been working really hard on building out the show. I'm going to be sending Mike to Jason pretty soon. I'm very excited about starting the show. We're going to do the live watch along tonight, which is great. So I've been working really hard on the tech with that, and yet not realizing, Ronnie, the reason you were super loud is that we control the mix independently here on VDO, and I was waiting for Mike to turn it down. Oh. It was my fault.
So it's Mike's fault. It's Mike's fault, actually.
No, it's Keith's fault.
It was. I was gonna say it's my fault. The important thing is it's not your fault.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're always learning. We're always learning.
Thank you.
I will mention just the what we were meant to talk about, and then we didn't. The Olympics are on, and it is.
We got multiple weeks.
Yeah, it is.
They're
It is
on?
available
They are?
to you via the nightly NBC broadcast, or you could just get a free month or whatever. They must be running some sort of a deal for a month of Peacock, which I have to say, it's pretty awesome. You get multi-feed. You can watch every event. It's 24/7. It is in high definition. It is all the things, with the exception of one. Even if you pay for it, and I did for the month, the like Uber super premium Peacock, like no ads, they run an ads on the Olympics. And not only are they running ads, they're running the same ad.
An
It is
unskippable ad.
Unskippable Pixar and whatever movie called, I should remember. Hopper.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to just listen to, or I'm talking to you, NBC, Peacock, Disney, whoever's paid for this ad. I'm never going to watch this movie. I promise you. If you hold me underwater and waterboard me, I won't watch Hopper because I've been forced to spend hours of my life looking at this ad. If you pay for premium, no ads, I don't want any ads, man. Okay. It makes me
Why
mad.
TV too?
Yeah.
You
Amen.
mute it. You watch it on
But,
TV too.
real quick, the Olympics.
Nothing real quick.
Why I like the Winter Olympics, I know a lot of people, like Ron, you were saying you're not a Winter Olympics guy. Here's why I like the
Not a
Winter
fan.
Olympics. A couple of things. One, I can't do any of these things. Whereas in the Summer Olympics, I am not fast, but I've been in races. I've done this, I've done that. I've never luged, I've never played curling, I can't ice skate, I can't ski, I can't do any of these things. So they're all magic to me. Ice skate, it's magical to me. Everything everybody's doing is magic, so I like that. B, this is the one place in all of sports, the Winter Olympics, where old dudes and old ladies still got a chance, right? The median age in the Olympics, the Summer Olympics, is like under 20, right? Whereas here in the Winter Olympics, you got some variety of body types that are still at an elite level when you're doing curling because it's all about up here. You got...
Is that the
yeah, that's the...
Oh, that one? Okay.
So I really like the Winter Olympics, and we've got a really strong American team. So if you need like a good like a team to root for, the American team is really cool here, and a lot of these young athletes are making political statements. It's some great stuff happening on the Olympics. So find some storylines you like.
And Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg is
Done with Snoop Dogg.
yeah, Snoop is
What is he doing?
He's been at every event.
he's snooping.
I mean,
he's
the everyman.
Yeah, he's like our. I don't know what. So he doesn't have like a show, and he's not like live streaming. He's just available to look at in the crowd.
He's just there as a, and I was so
He's
on
new.
board until he was homophobic, and now I'm not on board anymore.
Yeah,
He's homophobic? When did that happen?
Yeah, is he?
Recently.
Yeah, he's just
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
he's
thought he
recently
was-
been outwardly about that, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I thought he was
Watching the movie with his
accepting.
grandkids.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
no, you lost me. You lost me. I was on board for so long. Yeah, you lost me.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, the Snoop of it is he's on the screen a lot, but he's not very a vocal presence.
He lost his charm.
Watch the Olympics. Okay.
Can we eat some lunch?
Yeah, let's eat some lunch. Thanks for joining us for this extra large edition of K&M Geekly. We'll see you next week. Until then, don't let anybody yuck your young. Keep on doing the things you find fun and keep on geeking on. Thanks, friends. Peace.
Whee!